Robert Sella is bringing down the house nightly in Broadway's Sylvia. He plays 3 distinctly different roles in the Canine comedy, and I'm here at the Court Theater to talk to the actor about dressing up, dressing down, and lots of doggy love. Well, hello, Robbie Sella.
Hello, Beth. How are you?
I'm good. It's really nice to be here in your dressing room.
Thank you. It's a nice room.
So, obviously, Sylvia is a canine comedy. That's how it's described, I think.
I like that. With 2 Ks.
2 Ks. Has this changed how you feel about dogs being in this show?
Oh, no. I mean, listen, I'm really a dog person at heart. All growing up, I had dogs all my life. My mother was allergic to cats, and so we would never even thought about having a cat. And I just love dogs. And then when I came to New York, living in an apartment, especially apartments that don't allow dogs, which has been my situation, we had some cats. So I know I'm sort of a traitor, but now we have 2 Siamese cats.
Yeah, I don't know if you can be in this show anymore.
I know. I think I'm on my way out. Yeah, pretty sure. Pretty sure I'm on my way out.
But for people who maybe, I don't know why they'd be watching this if they didn't know, but Annaleigh Ashford, who we love, plays a dog.
Yes, she does.
You are in a cast of comedic geniuses, including yourself.
Well, thank you.
But it's a really fun cast. Annaleigh Ashford, Matthew Broderick, Julie White.
Brilliant. There's a moment you have in your life, where sometimes you're going along, whatever your job is, where you are in your life, and you think, I don't know, am I in the right place? Am I doing the right thing? And there were days in rehearsal where I looked around at these people, Dan Sullivan directing, these designers, Julie, Matthew, Annaleigh, and I thought, A.R. Gurney, and I thought, wow, if this is the room I'm in, I must be doing something right, because everywhere I looked was somebody just superlative and patient and funny and witty, and it's been a great experience for me all the way around.
And you play 3 wildly distinctive characters, very different characters. You play a man, you play a woman, and you play someone in between.
That's right, someone of indeterminate gender. Yes, Leslie, the therapist. It's really fun. A lot of people will ask me after the show who don't know the play, who didn't know about its previous incarnations, is that something that they just did for this, this production? And it's like, no, it was indicated by Mr. Gurney that one actor would play all 3 of these roles. So I was saying to someone that it's like this beautiful terrain of this story between a man, his wife, and this dog that comes into their tribe, their pack, and how they negotiate that and make room for her. And then as you walk along this beautiful terrain of this really lovely story, there are these little kind of geysers of delight that come in, sort of representing the other. Tom is like another dog owner who is very different from Greg, Matthew's character. And Phyllis is an old friend of Kate, Julie's character. And then, Leslie's this therapist they go to see if they can figure out how to move forward. So each of these people kind of represents the outside world as it relates to this little pack, this little tribe of people trying to figure out how to love each other.
So I'm sure you don't have a favorite, because that's like choosing among your children, but yeah. I have a favorite.
You do? Oh, me here. I'd love to hear.
Phyllis.
You love that Phyllis?
I love that Phyllis.
I know.
She's a woman of a certain age.
She is.
She's a woman of a certain class.
Yes. Yes, she is.
She's a woman of a certain hairdo.
That's right.
Tell me about what you did to sort of get into that character.
Something, it's really funny because the parts are so clearly written, and Pete gives such beautiful little gems all along the way that are the best hints that kind of unlock what each of the people could be and should be. And Phyllis just is chock full of those moments, just little things that kind of reflect, oh, right, that's who that person is. So he really did all the work, and then Campbell Young and Associates, basically Luke Verschuren and Ann Roth, who designed the costumes, when I would go to those fittings and see what they were creating for each of the characters, but I would say really for Phyllis as well, I thought, oh my gosh, who's luckier than me? Nobody, pretty much nobody.
So this show is so dear to so many people. And I think that's partially because it's had this long history. It's about 20 years old, and partially because dog owners around the world just relate to it. Well, I wouldn't say even dog owners, but pet owners.
Yeah.
So tell me some of the reactions you're getting from audience members.
I have to say, one of the things I love about doing plays is that you do get to meet people who've seen it, and they can talk to you about it. And even sometimes if the comments are critical, or you could think that someone didn't like it, or they might even seem unkind at first, you're having a dialogue, you're really relating to one another. It's not in a vacuum. And when you come out in the evening and there are people who are waiting to talk to you about the play, so many different things that people want to talk about. I've had so many moments where I've just hugged people, we've just stood there because they've just put their dog down, or they've just lost their cat, or it reminded them of the dog they had when they were kids and growing up. It's very personal, and I feel actually sort of privileged to be, you sort of get invited into someone's life for just a minute, and you get to talk about it, and you can say, oh, it's just a play, but it works on so many levels. It's extremely funny, like crazy funny. Mm-hmm. It's also very witty in a way that's much more cerebral, but it's also really moving and really dear to people.
I saw it twice, and the first time I saw it, in early previews, you stole the show both times, but the first time it was like this reaction at the curtain call, where I was like, yes, yes. And it's funny to me because they're like, Tony winner, Tony winner, Tony, got one, got one.
No, I know. I mean, I'll tell you, this is what I was saying the other day about, this is what makes the play work, and it's what makes our production work, is that you have to believe in the world of these people for Annaleigh to touch you and to move you and to make sense as a dog, and for this man to play these three disparate characters. If you don't understand and care for this marriage and these two people, which is what Matthew and Julie bring in just, epic amounts, then none of the other delights can be understood. So they are a foundation upon which anything else builds. That they're also so wildly funny themselves that they add to it. Just all comes together in that way.
And they're all musical theater actors in some ways. Julie less so, but you are also.
Yeah, but in
although
some
you don't get
musicals.
to sing in this.
I don't, which I think I don't know what that's about.
Really, you need to.
Need a fourth
You
character.
need to look at your contract. And
A lounge singer that they go to a restaurant. Well, I think, music is part of our work, whether we are singers or musicians or not. You hear the music in the voice, you understand the music of what you're trying to say. Watching these great actors work, even though it's not sung, see them find the tones and the rhythms every night and how they change with each audience is, it is a musical in that regard. So that is always a great skill to have because it adds to all of your, your tools.
Now you're married to another Broadway actor,
I am.
Miss Enid Graham, who's
Yeah.
in The Curious Incident, and you have 3 kids.
We do.
How does that work?
Well,
I have no idea how you manage all that.
well, I'll tell you what, we've been really fortunate, not because we chose it so much, but we've had some sort of like staggered times where she'll have worked and then I'll be home with them and then I kind of work and she takes some time. So we've been very fortunate, but there have been times when they're in the wings with a sitter or in the dressing room asleep under the dressing table all over the country. They've been everywhere, and even Lorenzo, our middle son, was born in London while I was doing a play. We tried to bring them into our lives so they could see how we lived, and rather than stop what was important to us, just, to say, oh, now we have to stop because this is what we're doing. We tried to bring them along.
What do you love most about doing this show?
Well, I love the parts. I love every night trying to figure out how to keep going further and further into making these people distinct and true while still fulfilling the sort of delight and kind of, I think, hilarity that they each require. And I love the people in the play. To look across and see those, Matthew's eyes or Julie's smile or Annaleig's face looking back at you and knowing that you're going back and forth and giving this energy between yourselves and then throwing it out and having it come back to you, there's nothing like it. It really is just, it's the greatest privilege. And I never take it for granted because I know, years can go by. You never know when you'll do another play. You certainly never know when you'll be on Broadway again. Certainly there are people in our community whose gifts and careers seem to just propel them on and on and on, and that's thrilling and wonderful for them. That has not been the case for me. I've had times where I didn't work at all, times when I've worked out of town, times when I've worked here, sometimes Broadway, sometimes not. So I look out and I see it. I imprint it in my mind, and I have a lot of those imprints from shows I've done in the past. So just being here, just coming out every night and doing that play with that audience and those people has been, it's my delight, utterly,
Well, thank you, Robbie. It's been so great to be in your dressing room.
Thanks.
It's just so cozy in here.
It is. It's so nice. I love my room. I'm sort of going to come back here even when I'm not in the show and just sit here, whoever's here.
That's not creepy.
No, it won't be weird.
No.
It won't be weird. When they dress, I'll go out. But then when they're fully dressed, I'll just sit here. Not really.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm glad you came.